Welcome to another video, Purple Political Talk here. Today is Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021, and today we're going to be discussing the 2021 New York City mayoral primaries. This is a bonus video. I'm going to give you guys another regular upload today. I just wanted to give you guys an update on this Democratic primary, and I wanted to discuss a little bit. What were the real shocks of the night? Who performed better than we thought they would? And then also the fall of Andrew Yang. How did Andrew Yang perform so horribly that he came in fourth place when he was expected to win this race just a mere couple of weeks ago? But before we get started, I wanted to remind you guys to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to be up to date with our latest content. And I also want to give you guys a very big thanks for showing up to yesterday's stream. That was really fun yesterday, and I hope to do more streams in the future with my good friend UEP. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get started with this update in 2021 New York City mayoral election polls, or not polls, but results. So, right now, since I last, updated you guys with when we were live on the live stream, some things have changed. We've gotten, a couple percentage more of votes. However, these percentage of votes show some things that are very, very shocking in certain ways. One, Eric Adams has expanded his lead by around a point since we last, saw this race, at around midnight of last night. So, 31.7% currently for Eric Adams. Maya Wiley is currently at 22.3%. This is actually very good for Maya Wiley. She's taken off the lead from Catherine Garcia, and she now has 22.3%. So, in bid terms, that tells us that she is 3 points ahead of Catherine Garcia, which in ranked choice voting, that is a very big thing for her. Catherine Garcia and Andrew Yang seem to be underperforming. Catherine Garcia is about where she was expected to be, the 20% mark. That's where she's expected to be. And Andrew Yang, of course, is the big disappointment of the night with 11.7%. Going into this race, Andrew Yang was the most known, and he was definitely one of the favorites to win this race at the end of it. Andrew Yang seemed to be the media superstar. Remember, when I talk about these races, what really matters is how the media is covering you. And, I think this is another great example of how media is like an endorsement in politics. Unfortunately for people like Andrew Yang and Catherine Garcia, at the end of their runs, they either didn't get the coverage they wanted, or they had very big scandals in the case of Andrew Yang. And people like Eric Adams and Maya Wiley did very well because of the endorsements they had, because of the media support they had, and generally speaking, they ran good campaigns. Eric Adams at this point looks like he might win the race. However, it's still not a certain because there is still a couple of different things that need to be analyzed for this race. So, the ranked choice voting is the biggest one, and I want to get into that a little bit. So, you see, these minor candidates down here, starting with Isaac Wright, going all the way up to maybe, I would say, Dianne Morales, 2%, 1%. In the big scheme of things, it doesn't seem like a lot, but in a close race, it could be. So, let's just suppose that let's just start counting votes from up here. I mean, this up here just counts to a total of around the bottom 5 candidates, maybe 1.5%. So that's not going to be a big deal breaker. However, when we're talking about 2% and up, that's considerable. So, let's think about where these votes could be going. Let's suppose, because this is ranked choice voting, 2.2% from Sean Donovan goes to Catherine Garcia. Using that would be around 21%. Let's say another 2.3% goes to Catherine Garcia. He has very good support. Raymond Moore in Manhattan. That puts her at 23%. Now Dianne Morales and Scott Stringer, those are two progressives. 8 points to Maya Wiley, 30%. Now Andrew Yang, this is going to be a big thing for Catherine Garcia, 32%. That puts her on top of Maya Wiley. So the big question becomes, it's going to be a very close race. It would be something like 32 to 31 to 38 to 30. How big of an amount could Eric Adams get of the second, third, fourth, fifth choice votes? I don't think he's going to do very well with being ranked. I think people are going to rank someone like Catherine Garcia or Maya Wiley before they rank him. So that's going to be rather interesting. And I think that at the end of the day, the thing is that it's going to be difficult for Eric Adams to end up winning that race by the current scheme of things. It's not difficult, but it's not as safe as it is. I think there is a more clear pathway for Catherine Garcia or Maya Wiley to win this race via ranked choice voting than Eric Adams. Eric Adams still has the lead. He has a 10-point lead. However, with the way that the candidates are set up, with the way the votes, unless there is a big surprise, I think Maya Wiley and Catherine Garcia still have a greater chance than winning than Eric Adams. That 10-point lead is worth something right now, but when you start getting the results coming in, when you start getting those ranked choice votes, 10-point lead is actually not that much if you can get ranked second, third, fourth choice. So I think that's what we're looking at. So now to the second part of this video. What happened to Andrew Yang? Why did Andrew Yang completely flunk this race? I want to take a look at these polls that I have right here. These are the opinion pollings that Wikipedia has put up on their page. And we can see here that Andrew Yang, he is this purple one right here, if I'm not wrong. Or no, this one right here. Right? Yeah, this one right here is Andrew Yang. He did pretty well. There was certain points where he was leading the race. He had 25%, 27% at certain points. He almost was beaten by undecided at a certain point. But getting closer, you saw how Andrew Yang started falling from the polls. We saw him go back to 20% to the point where Eric Adams took over. Now, we saw him completely fall from grace. Scandals started to come out, things like that. And, he was expected to get around what is around the 12% mark, which is sort of where he is right now, 12%. Now, Andrew Yang was the clear favorite coming into this race. I think that I cannot stress the fact that, Andrew Yang really came in as the favorite. And he completely blew that lead. I think that many factors came into it. But I think the biggest things were he had unfortunate events happen to him. He had unfortunate comments. He said certain things and he was just had a bad media coverage. I think that's the real thing that screwed Andrew Yang over. The bad media coverage, and I said this at the beginning of the video. And, I think that moving forward, once we start predicting elections, we start, taking a lot of other things into consideration. We have to analyze the fact. The media is influential in elections. They have an influence. And to certain points to decide elections, it's like an endorsement. Catherine Garcia wouldn't be in third place today if it wasn't for that New York Times endorsement. I think that Catherine Garcia is a great example of how rising with the media is possible. And Andrew Yang really took that big hit. Another thing that could have happened to Andrew Yang is the low turnout amongst Asian American voters. That's definitely possible, but I don't know how likely it is since we didn't get any exit polls during this mayoral race. Which is, not as great because, mayoral, for any race, actually, exit polls are just a great way to see how the demographic breakdowns, some of the issues that were at hand, that's the best way to see it. But with no exit polls, it was a little bit difficult during this race. Now, as far as Andrew Yang's futures go in politics, I'm not sure where he's headed. He's going to have a little bit of a tougher time choosing where he's going to go because this was going to be Andrew Yang's stepping stone to maybe one day running for governor or maybe one day, becoming president. But I think that it's still unlikely that he's going to have a big political future. I mean, he's going to be in the mainstream or whatever, but it's going to be harder for him to jump into a bigger position like president with nothing like this under his belt. I think the best thing that could happen for Andrew Yang right now is that Catherine Garcia wins, so she gives him a position in the the executive council or like her cabinet, and then that way he builds experience with the city and maybe ends up winning a mayoral race in the future. If Eric Adams wins, I think we can all say that that relationship is completely hindered and you can forget about Andrew Yang getting a position in that cabinet. And moving forward, I think Andrew Yang should look at a run for governor or something. I think that is what he should look at because at this point in time, it's not looking too great for Andrew Yang politically. So Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a huge thumbs up, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to be up to date with our latest content, and please stay tuned for that video bonus upload. I will be uploading later today. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.